Today, I will tell you everything you need to know about Guild Wars 2 and why you need to play this game. First of all, let's start with me. I'm a Call of Duty player, alright? I play Forza, I play Call of Duty, I play Gears of War, Halo. Look, alright, this is my list, and here, this is the time, that's the time I played Call of Duty, alright? Just so you know, I'm not lying. And then now, after nearly 2,000 hours on Guild Wars 2, I'm finally ready to tell you all the reasons why you need to play Guild Wars 2. So for the first reason, it's very simple, okay? The game is completely free. To a certain extent, of course. I mean, it's an MMO. Then let's define what an MMORPG really is. An MMORPG is like a world online all the time where you can play with random people or your friends. There is no game to start, game to end. It's like real life but in another world. You can craft items, you can farm for items, you can fight mobs, you can fight big bosses, you can do raids, you can do dungeon. Very cool instance group content. Neat part about MMOs is seeing your character for the first time being level 1, almost naked, and then your character level max, fully geared up, looking super badass in front of everyone. This is the coolest thing ever. MMOs also offers most of the time very cool questing experience, main story experience, and above everything, exploration. And in Guild Wars 2, the exploration is one of the best features in the game. But what makes this game truly special? Well, there's quite a number of things that makes this game very special, and here's one of them: the gear system. Let's compare Guild Wars to World of Warcraft. In World of Warcraft, every time an expansion drops, the level cap increases, and so the gear level and stats increase. But not the stats you already have, but the stats of the new armors that are in the expansion. So every new expansion, you have to grind for new gear. Even if you've grinded hours and hours for the gear you already have, which were top tier just like 2 weeks ago. But in Guild Wars, it's very different. You have named gear. What I mean by that is that every single piece of gear has an assigned category. For example, me, I'm a Reaper, and so I use mainly Berserker gear. So all I need is Berserker gear. That Berserker gear I have was the same 10 years ago. So it means that from the time you have your gear for the first time, you are set forever. Now the horizontal progression. In regular MMOs, you have your character and you have alts. Alts are just other characters that are not your main character, and they do not share all the same armors or weapons. And sometimes when you achieve something big with the character, other character will not. For example, in Elder Scrolls Online, when you upgrade your mount for it to go faster and carry more stuff in your inventory, it's only for one character. But horizontal progression makes it that when you get something with your character, all of your characters can benefit from that thing, including currencies, and it makes it very interesting, and you can feel that you're not losing your time, which is very important in MMOs. Now let's talk about the combat. The combat in Guild Wars 2 is amazing. Compared to other great games out there, this game really uses everything it can. So basically, you have 9 classes, 8 free classes, and 1 you can only get by buying at least 1 expansion. All these classes have different combat styles. Every weapon are wielded differently from one to another. And then you have subclasses. Subclasses basically change your class for completely. For example, my character here is a necromancer, but I have the Reaper subclass. I'm able to get into a shroud that really looks like a Reaper, and I can do other stuff that I cannot do when I'm just a necromancer. Dynamic events. This is one of Guild Wars 2's special and unique feature, and I thought, why not just showing you the trailer of that
The dynamic
feature.
event system in Guild Wars 2 is really our attempt to take the traditional quests in a traditional MMO and really throw those out the window and to create something bigger and better than what people have experienced before.
We're trying to create a living and breathing world. So what that means is when you enter an area, there won't be static NPCs just waiting around for you to go up and talk to them. When you enter that area, there's going to be things happening. There's going to be centaurs attacking, other NPCs defending, and having battle lines move back and forth. You'll see buildings on fire. You'll see catapults launching over the walls.
Part of the problem with traditional MMO quests is nothing you did actually makes a difference in the world. You might walk up to a guy and he'll say, hey, my daughter got kidnapped by ogres and I need you to go rescue her. Well, in Guild Wars 2, what would actually happen is the ogres would come into the town in the form of a dynamic event. You would see them charge into the town, break down the walls, kidnap the daughter, and run off with her. And players could band together to try to stop the ogres from kidnapping her. And if they don't do that, the ogres take the daughter back to their cave and they put her there, and a new dynamic event kicks off in the world where you need to rescue her from the ogre. So it has meaning, it has consequence in the world.
In Guild Wars 2, we don't penalize you for playing in groups.
So in a traditional MMO quest, you're out in the world and you see another player running up, you go, no, they're gonna ruin my experience, they're gonna steal my kills.
You'll get just as much experience as the other people fighting there with you, whether you're in a party or not.
The more players that are participating in the event, the more difficult the event becomes, the more creatures who come to attack. So you're always working with other players.
You can play with anybody. You can play with the people you're just running through the world with. They don't have to be people you know outside of the game. They don't have to be people you've built a party with.
Guild Wars 2 has the most replayability of any MMO ever made, period. Doesn't even come close. You might go through a map and experience completely different content than the last time you yourself went through that map. You literally never know what you're going to find every time you log in to play Guild Wars 2.
Map exploration. One of Guild Wars 2's strongest point. Guild Wars 2's map is massive. There's so much stuff to do. Between events, hard quests, missions, story missions, all of this, farming. There's so much to discover. There are things that are called point of interest that are basically just there for you to see. There's so much beautiful things in the game. Beautiful mountains, grove. There's big forests, big statues to see, big dragons, there's so much stuff, and the game is just made for that. If you like to discover things, if you like to learn more about the lore, it's just the good and the perfect game for you. It's just the perfect game for you. There's even a map completion bar. You can 100% this bar and obtain a gift of exploration, which is used to make legendary items that I will talk about in the next point. Legendaries. This is probably one of my favorite topics, even though I only have 3 legendaries.
Tier 1. Possibility to change your stats whenever you want, to transmog infinitely for free whenever you want, to interchange the weapon between all of your characters forever. Imagine not having to buy armor forever. It would be instant endgame at level 80, instant top tier loot forever. And this is how I will become.
Well, that's for another day. I'm sorry guys, I had to show you. I will not explain all the details to how to craft legendaries in this game, but basically you need a lot of material, and you have some little quests that are tied to your weapon story or your armor story if you're making a legendary armor. But I'm bringing this topic here because the armors and The weapons are amazing. They look so good. I have never seen weapons that looks as good as these weapons in an MMO like this. If you want to know how to craft certain weapons, if you want to know a bit more about Legendaries, I suggest you to go in my description and click on the video. It's just a video of me explaining how I got the Eternity, which is basically a double legendary weapon combined into one. And so I explained a little bit how I crafted it, how it went, and how the journey was for me. When I play an MMO, I really like to know more about the world I'm playing in and the people that are surrounding me, the bosses, the weapons, stuff like that. It really piques my interest. And in Guild Wars, we are lucky because it's Guild Wars 2. So yeah, there was a Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 2 takes place 250 years after Guild Wars 1, so I don't need to tell you how much lore there is in this game. There's the lore from Guild Wars 1, and before Guild Wars 1 there's so much stuff, and this is crazy because when you know all the stuff there is in this game, you understand more where you go, why certain NPCs say certain things, why certain gods are doing this, that, certain bosses, why, like, you understand more, and it's so fun because you're more in depth. I could talk about this game for hours, but now comes the end of this video. I thank you all for your support. Leave a like and comment if you played the game already. Tell me how you feel about this game, if you like it, if you don't like it, tell me why. Also, tell me what you think about the new Jantier expansion, because for me, it's an absolute blast. And don't forget to subscribe to me. I will do one video of an MMO and one video of Call of Duty, and I will do it in an alternative way. So yeah, I'll try to do something like this because I like MMOs and I like FPS games. So anyways, have a good one, brothers.